I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Folks, this is a breaking news alert and a big one in the state of Ohio, where Issue 1 was on the ballot today on Tuesday. Issue 1 has failed. A big victory for pro-democracy, a big victory for the rights of women to control their bodies. Ohio Issue 1 was that measure pushed by MAGA Republicans in the state to raise the threshold to pass a state constitutional amendment to 60%. This was pushed by MAGA Republicans, recognizing that the right to make abortion a constitutional right in Ohio would be on the ballot most likely in November. So the MAGA Republican plan to try to foil that was to prevent a majority of people living in Ohio from voting for a constitutional amendment giving women the right to control their body by trying to sneak in this vote on what's called Ohio Issue 1, which was the measure to raise the threshold to pass a state constitutional amendment to 60%. And folks, the polling data had it all wrong, and we've seen this time and time again in all of these recent votes, especially between the midterm elections and now wherever there's been these votes or these state issues or state referendums. We've seen massive voter turnout. We've seen massive turnout by independents. We've seen massive turnout by women voters. We've seen massive voter turnout by Gen Z, which has proved all of these models that have been pushed by traditional polling companies has demonstrated all of those models are incorrect. I mean, going into the vote today, the support or opposition of Issue 1 was being reported as about even, with neutral, undecided being about 16.6%. It seems that what's taken place is that female voters have massively voted against Issue 1, striking Issue 1 down, rejecting Issue 1. We've seen a number of independent voters all breaking on the pro-democracy side, supporting a woman's right to control her body, their bodies, over the efforts by MAGA Republicans to try to dictate what women can or can't do with their own bodies. Folks, this was a big, big victory for democracy, for a woman's right to control her body. And just to remind you again, Issue 1 was about whether there would be amendments to Ohio's Constitution should require a 60% supermajority of the vote to pass. It would also, by the way, not just that alone, it would require petitioners to get signatures from all 88 Ohio counties in order to get a constitutional amendment on the ballot and eliminate their ability to get new signatures to replace any that are found to be invalid. Issue 1 was just the latest in a string of efforts by MAGA Republican politicians to try to change the rules. It's not enough for them to engage in gerrymandering, but now they want to change the rules governing ballot measures with implicit or sometimes explicit aims of thwarting citizen-led policy proposals. And, the MAGA Republicans had always been saying, oh, these are states' rights issues, right? When they got Roe v. Wade overturned, even though Roe v. Wade was super precedent, and we'll let the states decide. Okay, well, the states decide that these MAGA Republican extremist policies have no place in the United States of America, that MAGA Republicans need to get the heck out of the doctors' rooms and the bedrooms of American citizens, of women, of Americans in general. Get out, MAGA Republicans. Stop having your government encroach on people's freedoms. Enough is enough. And folks, the voters sending a clear message, a powerful message, that this MAGA Republican Issue 1 is being rejected. Look, we started seeing the data come in yesterday evening. We've seen Democrats coming out to vote in droves. We've seen lots of females coming out to vote in huge numbers, and that carried on till today. I want to show you this scene as well. Back when Issue 1 was voted on and it was kind of thrust onto Ohio and trying to sneak this issue one thing in there. This was the scene in Ohio when the MAGA Republicans there first tried to ram their lawless and shameless attack on Ohio's democracy with issue 1, which has just been rejected. Play this clip. And here is Ohio State Representative Bride Rose Sweeney explaining that today's Ohio's issue 1 special election is the latest attempt from MAGA Republicans in the state to try to change the rules of the game. Play this clip.
It's not shocking. This is just the latest attempt from my Republican colleagues in order to change the rules of the game, in order to remain unaccountable to the people of Ohio and to do what they want for themselves and for their special interests. And they've said it themselves. This is specifically about stopping the right for individuals in Ohio to have reproductive justice in the state. The fact of the matter is that we have a wide coalition of individuals voting no, who understand that this is about abortion, but it's also so much more about abortion, because this is really about the stake of Ohio's democracy.
And I think this is a great summary. Just if you're still confused what issue 1 is, I want to show you this clip, a good description of issue 1.
Issue 1 changes the way citizens can amend the Ohio Constitution. Since 1912, a majority of voters from half of Ohio's counties could get a constitutional issue on the ballot. Issue 1 changes that to 60% of voters in all 88 counties. So just one county could change everything.
Our mission is explicitly nonpartisan.
Professor Cherie Strawn is the director of the Bliss Institute at the University of Akron.
If this is a way to make legislators who aren't responsive deal with an issue that they're avoiding, or deal with an issue that the electorate really cares about, then you're making it harder for the electorate, right, to get those signatures, to get something on the ballot, and to pass it.
Among those opposing it has been former Republican Ohio Governor Bob Taft, who wrote lawmakers to say could impact future efforts to build highways or schools and protect the environment. At a Seneca County Republican Party Lincoln Day dinner, LaRose admitted placing issue 1 on the ballot in August is intended to interfere with an anticipated reproductive rights ballot issue in November.
This is 100% about keeping a radical pro-abortion amendment out of our Constitution. The left wants to jam it in there this coming November. And so, yes, it's about abortion, but it's about so many other things as well.
And I would encourage people to think about this in terms of long-term. This is a substantial change to our Constitution. Long-term, do you want it to be more onerous for average people to amend our Constitution?
And folks, this was from an interview earlier in the day as well from MSNBC about how an unexpectedly high turnout for Tuesday's Ohio special election showcases how invested voters are and have been about the referendum. Here, play this clip from MSNBC where they even interview a MAGA Republican who's like, oops, I think we overplayed our hand here. Play this clip.
Well, Mika, this is really a proxy battle in the post-Roe era. You and I talk often about the political implications of the Dobbs decision last summer. This is the latest test of how it will fare politically in a red state. We know in Ohio, Republicans really do have a stronghold on the way that the state's politics are done. Nevertheless, you start looking at turnout numbers here, and it becomes clear that voters, despite this being an August special election, dog days of summer that was put on, frankly, quite spontaneously, spontaneously with only a few weeks of lead time here. Voters are still tuned in. You're seeing turnout be over 500,000 people. It might sound like a small number, but it's much higher than we've even seen in competitive Senate and gubernatorial primaries in recent years. And it's a testament, I think, in talking to people here on both sides of the issue, to the fact that voters are engaged and they are aware of the fact that even though right now, today, they are voting on something that has to do with how constitutional amendments are adjudicated, what they're really voting on is something that will have an impact on a ballot measure that's coming up in just a few months in November that will enshrine abortion protections into the state's constitution. I think it's really important to remember here, Republicans in Ohio had gotten rid of August special elections. They said no more. Then they looked a little bit down the calendar, saw that there was this abortion referendum coming up in November, and instead made the decision to do this special election today in August to make changes to the ways that you can amend the state's constitution, making it harder, making it a 60% threshold as opposed to a simple majority. It's not clear that that's going to work, and not all Republicans are on board. In fact, I talked to one Republican state legislator yesterday who said that this could be a moment where his party did the wrong thing strategically. Watch. What's the lesson for your party if come Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, the ballot initiative fails?
Maybe we should spend more time thinking through things before taking the step.
Maybe less red meat for the base, more thoughtfulness.
There is a way to provide the red meat and do things in a thoughtful way. And I'm afraid this was rushed a little bit because we had to make a certain deadline to be able to get it done.
Right.
And I think it could have borne a little more debate. And I'm not sure if I would have voted to put it on the ballot if it wasn't in that rushed format, if it wasn't a special election, if it didn't seem pretty hypocritical based on what we'd done just a few months ago by eliminating August special elections.
And there you have it, folks, a big victory for democracy. Issue 1, no prevails. That means what we're going to see, I believe, in November is a constitutional right for citizens of Ohio, for women in Ohio to have an abortion be placed on the ballot in November. I think that will pass. And I think as we are looking to the elections in 2024 as well, not just the ballot initiatives that are going to be coming up this November, as we look to 2024, I've said it time and time again. You know, we saw how off the polling data was in the midterms. What the polling doesn't reflect is that there has been a paradigm shift in American politics as Republicans have gone full-blown MAGA, have taken away freedoms from people, have targeted women, have targeted the LGBTQ plus community, have targeted essentially everybody. The Democrats are a pro-democracy coalition of independents, people not affiliated with political parties, progressives, liberals, actual conservatives, people coming together in a pro-democracy coalition and saying enough is enough with this MAGA chaos, this MAGA trying to take people's freedoms. Enough of that. That MAGA stuff needs to go. And folks, I think we are seeing this trend. We have talked about this trend. Again, large media networks continue to ignore it, but the results are here. We are seeing it. A great day for democracy, a great day for the people of Ohio. We will keep you posted as we get more information here on the MeidasTouch Network. Check out MeidasTouch.com for more information. That's MeidasTouch.com. And wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. Have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.